Yeah, yeah. I would dust it. My jeans, my shoes, that's weight. I'm keen, I'm cool, you lame. Make 10,000 today. That is minimum wage. My jeans, my shoes, that's weight. I'm keen, I'm cool, you lame. Make 10,000 today. That is minimum wage. Got a flight to Mumbai for the weekend. All you niggas fell off, you ain't in season. Describe her top, well, it was decent. Might just spaz in a Benz, boy, I'm tweaking. Holy shit, I'm tweaking. Holy shit, I'm tweaking. Do my dance, nigga, for no reason. Special bed, just for the weekend. Never out here sleeping, do my while you eating. Now I'm in main stage, fucking on a bad hoe. That's enrichment for all you niggas that don't know. Several women keep lining up at my shows. While they tripping, they don't even got iPhones. That smell like rich in here, it smells like bitch in there. It smells like motherfucking sex, drugs, and hits in here. They're riding thick and blowing kisses cause we lit in here. Probably by the fucking leader, it's a tech in here. Ooh la la, she hella bad. I might hit it one shotty, I won't hit it back. Do the dash, new Balenciaga got a bag, get it back. Pedal to the gas, shotty, I been living fast. Ooh la la, she hella bad. I might hit it one shotty, I won't hit it back. Do the dash, new Balenciaga got a bag, get it back. Pedal to the gas, shotty, I been living fast. What you need, what you want, what we doing? Pull up with a coupe, no roof, just to do it. She only talk cash, cause she know I speak fluent. The devil in the dress, shorty, I can see through it. She know I'm a rock star, but I know she a diva. She only sent me black hearts, but she always on her knees. Ooh la la, she hella bad. I might hit it one shotty, I won't hit it back. Do the dash, new Balenciaga got a bag, get it back. Pedal to the gas, shotty, I been living fast. Ooh la la, she hella bad. I might hit it one shotty, I won't hit it back. Do the dash, new Balenciaga got a bag, get it back. Pedal to the gas, shotty, I been living fast. Yeah, she living in the hills. Shorty drive a Benz with a top off. She got a cold heart, but she know that. That little bitch taking pictures all the Kodak. Ooh la la, she hella bad. I might hit it one shotty, I won't hit it back. Do the dash. Yeah. I got a main thing, but if I'm being honest, I only hit it for the one time. I told my side bitch, get up on it, and I hit it real easy like a punchline. But fuck it, we gon' get right to these bands. She spend the night with her friends. Yeah, them hoes hit my line when I land. It's just a check on the gram, they all need a man. But show me yours to it, I ain't no toy. I got a couple little thoughts, I get glued to 'em. And we don't like to talk a lot, we just get 'em moving. And they all know I'm about to pop, bitch, I'm going stupid. Oh, you know how I go. I'm the one to give it to you when you're all alone. Oh, hit my phone. We can be friends if you keep it on the low, baby. I got a main thing, but if I'm being honest, I only hit it for
All right. Hello, guys. Am I audible? Hi, Niklang sir. How are you?
Hi, Vansh. I'm good.
Yeah. Can you see the chat clearly?
Yes, I can. As of now,
Perfect.
there's only one message,
Yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
messages. Yeah.
Are just joining in. And just we are waiting. And hi, Abhishek. How are you? It's the final day, guys. Today we'll be announcing the winners. Obviously, in the first place and the second place. We're just ready. We're just waiting for everyone to join in. Excited to hear the feedback. 100% Kathy. So with Niklang sir, we'll be trying to cover all the feedback. Basically, how is this going to work is because see everyone has limited time, right? So Niklang sir is going to be giving you guys a very generalized tips in which every single person will get targeted, and specifically the top two will be reviewed by Niklang sir, and like sir will obviously tell ki कौन कहाँ गलत था. So hi Rutuja, hi Kajol, Kathy, सब लोग आ जाओ. We are just waiting for everyone to tune in. It's a Saturday night, obviously. Everyone will be a bit late. So एक काम करते हैं सर, स्टार्ट करें क्या? सीधा अनाउंस कर देते हैं पहले, एंड देन वी कैन, आई हैव मेड अ स्मॉल लिटिल प्रेजेंटेशन फॉर द गाइस। मतलब 4 पेज की
Sure, go ahead.
प्रेजेंटेशन है मेरा। 4 पेज की, उसमें कुछ है नहीं, सीधा
Go ahead.
अनाउंसमेंट है कि कौन जीता कौन नहीं। सो आई थिंक लेट्स स्टार्ट। वेट, so as you guys can see, the top two are here, right? Everyone is joining in. I know they will be late, but we have to keep it थोड़ा जल्दी जल्दी करना है because everyone has अच्छा time to value, and obviously everyone has to go out as well here and there. So we'll start. So obviously the top two are here. Are you all excited? Just press one if you all are really really excited. I think सब लोग तो करेंगे ही press one, but yeah, now people are joining in. We are about to reveal the top two winners, guys. एक slide के बाद ही हमारे first and second place वाले लोग हैं. So अरे अरे, all right, let's start. So the
Raj is frustrated, everyone.
yeah, the second place goes to, drum rolls, Rutuja. Let's go. Rutuja is in the chat. Really, really happy for Rutuja. Rutuja, you made it to the second place. Super, super happy for you. And congratulations. And now the first place goes to Abhishek Kumar. Abhishek is also in the chat, guys. Congratulations to these two winners. They have
Congratulations, guys.
they have done amazing work, है ना? And अभी हम reasoning देंगे, obviously. So congratulations to everyone, not only these two guys. Congratulations to each and everyone who took a part in this. Whoever submitted this will be given the certificate as well on the WhatsApp group again, so everyone can just flex it. And these two specific winners will be contacted by me, so keep an eye on WhatsApp for the rewards. All right, and yeah, salute to every single one. So ये था छोटा सा presentation. Now, sir, over to you. We have everyone waiting. So
Okay.
congratulations to Abhishek and Rutuja for winning this competition. That is the second workshop of designer. So yes, sir. Over to you now.
Okay, cool. So, like what once said, I think there was some commonality, in terms of issues that I saw in all the portfolios, right? So I just thought that I'll break it down and I'll give some generic advice and some generic direction so that everybody can benefit, right? And then we'll specifically get into the two portfolios, that we've kind of selected, and I'll tell you honestly, I think you guys were all very, very close. So, it's not that the others who've not been able to make it are very far away, or have. Um, but yeah, I mean, special mention for the two because, and I'll get into it in detail a little later, but I think the quality of work definitely stood out. Yeah. Now I've made some notes that I want to share, and I'll go through them. If you have any questions, please do put it in the chat. I'm looking at it, and I can take a pause and I can kind of answer those questions as well. Right. Now, the first thing is that I want all of y'all to understand there are three very distinctively different things when you're doing UX. Okay. And I'll explain what those three things are. The first one is the brand experience. Okay. What I mean by that is that when you hear of a product or when you hear of a service, what do you associate that brand with, right? You have very clear ideas and very clear visuals that come to your head when you hear things like Nike or Apollo or Mercedes or Jockey or so, because these brands, these companies, they spend time and money in putting messaging out there in various different media to reach you, to create a sort of personality about the brand. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about this, right? So, but the first thing is the brand experience. So note that, okay, what does the brand actually communicate to you, and what does the brand actually have in terms of touch points, right? Is it a digital brand? Is it an offline brand? Do you see it in stores or do you see it on TV, right? That is the entire experience, the communication that the brand is putting out. The second one is more specific. It's a user experience. That is now the engagement point for the user when they start engaging with the brand, right? So the user experience is social media where you're engaging with the brand on, say, Instagram or uh, you know Twitter or X or Facebook and things like that, or you're walking into their store. That is the actual user experience when the user starts engaging with your brand, either digitally or physically, by talking to a person from that particular company or store, or by interacting with something like a digital interface, which is a social media channel or an app or a website. The third is the service experience. Okay, this is more specifically how the service actually delivers to you. For example, I have a Toyota car. I hear about Toyota. I like what I hear. I go for a test drive. That was a brand experience. I like it. I say that, okay, fine, I'm going to buy it. Then there is a user experience where I'm actually going into the store. I'm booking. I'm taking a loan and all of those things, and the car is getting delivered to me. All that is the user experience, and then becomes in the actual experience with the product or the service. Just give me 1 second, please.
By the time sir returns, guys, obviously, again, be ready for with your names if you want sir's feedback. All right. I just thought that we obviously don't have all the top 10 with us right now. So जिसको भी रिव्यू चाहिए होगा सर कोई भी 10 को रिव्यू कर सकते हैं, right? All right, sir is back. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I got something in my throat. So the three things, right? The first one is the brand, what you actually experience and what you actually see and think and feel about the brand before you engage with them. Second one is a user experience, where you actually start engaging with the brand, right? You touch and feel a product, or you walk into a store, or you download an app, or you go to their website. That is where you're starting to do your interactions. The third one is post your interactions, you've transacted, and now you've become a customer, right? So you've bought into the service or you bought the product. That is the actual product or service experience, right? That's the third part. So when you as a UXer are working, you need to understand which part of this experience you're working for, right? Are you trying to build something to attract new audiences to the service? Is that the job? Or you're trying to get them to taste and have, it's called FTE, a first time experience. Are you trying to get them to do their first interactions, first engagements with the brand? Or are you dealing with customers who've bought in, customers who are already invested in your product or service, and then you're trying to do a repeat experience, right? So you have to think about these things and then go ahead and try to solve the problems, because each of these, they command a different kind of language, they command a different kind of experience from the user, right? And this is where I thought that all of y'all could have spent more time in trying to understand what is the customer's expectation from what they are engaging with, right? What kind of language do they want to hear? What kind of visuals do they want to see? What kind of usability do they want to experience, right? So this is the first thing that I thought I wanted all of y'all to understand, where I thought all of y'all can do a lot more work, right? Now, for example, in the brand experience part, that's more about discovering the service, right? So in that, what I would generally do is I would try to compare our product, our brand, with the competition in the market, and show the values that we stand for, and show how we are different or how we are better, and how we should be the choice, right? I would do this through testimonials, right? Is there customers who can are there customers who can come and talk about me? And that is the best kind of marketing, when you have an existing customer, an invested stakeholder who comes in, who appreciates what you've done for them. So testimonials are great, right? They build trust, right, for with people who don't know you, or who are seeing you for the first time, or experiencing you for the first time. I would really make the touch points really easy to understand. I would use very simple language, right? What are the three things that were coming out in this particular service that you all were working on? Simplicity, ease of use, trustworthiness, right? These would be the hooks, the anchors that you should build your experience on. Okay. Second step would be engaging with the service. That is where I would focus on how am I welcoming them? How am I, when somebody comes to my website, or when somebody downloads my app, what is my first onboarding? Am I welcoming them? For example, if I've downloaded your app, the app can very easily know what time it is. So it can say, hey, good morning. I may not know your name. but I may know the weather because of the location that I have. So am I saying that, hope you're enjoying the lovely monsoon, right? How am I greeting them into my experience? That is very, very important. That builds faith, it builds trust, it builds likelihood of being personable and lovable, right? The second one is usability and convenience, right? Am I making the text readable, very, very clear, and not coming across as very verbose with a lot of text? And because people don't read anymore, they scan, right? When was the last time you actually sat down and read something end to end in detail from a new product or a new service? You just visually scan, you'll just scroll and you'll be like, okay, does it make sense? You need those anchor, those big points, those big values that people will want to attach themselves to. They need service clarity. They need to very quickly understand what is your service, why should I pick it. That is in the second part, the user experience part that I was talking about. The third one, where it is now the service experience, where you're my customer now, I expect you to keep nudging me. I expect you to keep reminding me, hand holding me through everything that I want to do. Right? For example, I'll go back to the Toyota example. The app tells me when my car is due for service. The app tells me when the fuel is low. The app tells me, it gives me a way of setting the air conditioning before I, get into the car. So that it makes it easy. It keeps hand holding me throughout my product or my service experience. Right? The third part also has a very important aspect, which is evangelism. Is your customer willing to talk about you? Is the customer willing to share their experiences? Because bad experiences everybody shares. The minute you have a bad experience with a particular brand or a product, you're immediately the first one to go there and give them a rating and talk about how it was a bad experience. The food was bad, or the product was bad, or the seller did not give you the right delivery timeline and things like that. But why don't we encourage our happy customers to become our evangelists? How do we get our happy customers to come back and give us feedback? How do we get them to talk about us to other customers? Right? This is also a very important part of the service experience that I was saying. Right? Um, this, I think, all 10 of you, all the 10 portfolios that I saw, all of you need to start thinking about this. All of you need to break it down when you're doing UX. Okay, what stage is my customer in? What mindset is my customer in? Right? You need to think about that, and then you need to write. So like one example I want to give you all is, all of you all had very transactional copy, right? Booking confirmed. It just said booking confirmed, right? It should have had a nice green tick which could have said, now you know the name of the person. So you could have said, hey Abhishek, your booking is confirmed. The minute you say that, the minute you use their name, the minute you personalize it, it makes it very human, right? Which I think was missing in all 10 portfolios, which is something that you all should do. You all should think of, what do I know at that very step about the customer, and how can I use that information to make this experience more lovable, more memorable, more powerful, right? These are the things that I thought all of y'all should really, really focus on. And the next time, I hope that y'all go ahead and you design an experience or you build an experience, you make it really very human, right? You make it very, very accurate to the sentiment that the person is feeling at that time. You have to understand, these are people you're talking about who are not maybe that digitally savvy. These are people who are probably trying to do this on their own, for the first time, and they need for it to feel very trustworthy. You need to talk to them like you're talking to a person, and they need to feel like they're interacting with somebody who cares about them, because it's a healthcare subject. It's about people who are not on video games 24/7, so they're not somebody who are very into the digital world, right? And this is a service which has a mix of physical and digital, so you need to make sure that the experience that you're building is very, very warm and welcoming and encouraging and empathetic. Yeah, I'll take a pause now, once if this makes sense, and if there's any
100%.
who has any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Guys,
uh,
go ahead if you like want to like ask or like get reviews. So, sir, before we dive deep into that, can you
yeah.
just share your screen and just show the audience that why Abhishek is first, why Rutuja is second? if that can be possible.
Okay, fine, cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let me. You want me to show Abhishek's?
yeah,
1 sec.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let me know once you guys can see my screen.
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay, great. So I'll tell you what stood out about Abhishek's portfolio to me. One main thing was the interface was very clean. Okay, it was very simple. It did not come across very verbose with a lot of text and a lot of language. And if you look at the personas of the people that you're building this experience for, they would want that simplicity. They would want it to be something which does not make them feel like, oh my god, I have to read so much before I do something, right? It should be very, very intuitive, that the minute I see it, I should know, okay, fine, this is exactly where I need to go, this is where I need to tap, this is where I need to click, and this is what will happen next. So from that perspective, from a usability perspective, I thought Abhishek did a fairly good job. And I mean, even if you look at the screens here, very few CTAs, very few journeys, not trying to push a lot of it into one screen, right? That for me was what stood out about Abhishek's final solution I'm talking about. Obviously, the other thing that I thought, the articulation could have been better in terms of the problem statement, right, where he says that, and as age increases, people face significant challenges. But I think understanding the steps of the user, and understanding the emotions that the user is going through, during that particular process, that is something that I think Abhishek captured fairly well, right? In terms of who he is building the solution for. Again, understand, I don't say designing the solution, I say building the solution, because I don't want you all to just think up till design. I want you all to push your thinking and actually imagine the user opening your app, downloading it, seeing it, tapping on it, right? One more thing that I thought was missing from all 10 portfolios was, or if there was, then I kind of missed it and I didn't see it, was going back with your prototype and actually testing it with your user, and seeing how they're using it, even if it was just a few screens, even if it was like 5 6 screens, but creating some sort of a small prototype, and actually going to somebody like a Rajesh Mehta, finding a Rajesh Mehta in your ecosystem, your friend's father or your neighbor or anybody, and saying that, okay, here is something that I made for people like you, and it'll help you book a blood test at home. Can you tell me what you think? I think that is very, very important. Validating what you're doing is extremely, extremely important. And not just validating it with people in design or your friends or your colleagues, or it is very important to actually go to this user. If you're saying that you understand who a Rajesh Mehta is, then find somebody like this person and go and show them what you've done and see, so I'll tell you honestly, I actually have somebody similar to this who I showed these solutions to, and I took feedback from them, right? This is not just my feedback that I am giving you after seeing what you all have done. I didn't have a lot of time, so I couldn't go to many people, but I would have, if I had to judge you all and if I had to truly test, that's what I would have done. I would have actually taken this and I would have taken it to like 5 10 people who are like these personas that you all have identified, and then seen what they have said, and then come and shared that with you. Because nothing is more important than your actual user telling you what they thought, what they felt, what they saw, right? So from all of these aspects, I thought what he's been able to do is really, really stands out. The other thing also is that I thought he went through a lot many services in terms of trying to understand and compare them, right? In most of the other studies, I just saw two. Maybe they've done more, but they only showcased two, and he's shown more. So I don't want to hold that against anybody, but I'm saying that it just felt as if there is more comparisons that have happened. So here another thing that I want to identify, and this is again generically for all of y'all. See, you have to understand. an audit or a comparison or an analysis is of two types. One is competitive, which is direct, right? And the other one is strategic, which is indirect. Now, in indirect, it doesn't always have to be within your industry, right? In indirect, you could have also taken inspiration from WhatsApp. Because if you go back to a Rajesh Mehta and you look at your persona, this persona's main digital experience would be a WhatsApp, or it would be Facebook, or it would be maybe a calendar or an alarm, right? So you have to think about their digital exposure and see what this person is probably using in their digital life, and see if there are design cues from there that you can take to build your solution so that it is easy for them to adapt to your solution, right? So that is again why I thought, I don't know if Abhishek has actually thought that much through or not, but it felt as if, this gentleman has actually gone into, trying to understand the digital experience of their personas, and then kind of, put together, the solutions. So the fact that everything is big, clear, stands out, easy to, focus on, that to me was very, very important, because that builds trust, that you're not trying to hide anything, you're not trying to say too much, you've kept it very, very simple and made it very easy for me to use, right? Again, I'll take a pause. Any questions so far, or should I continue?
Also, just letting you know, sir, that the guys will hear us after 5 to 6 seconds. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
there's a delay.
just
Yeah,
okay, sure, no worries. um so okay, then I'll continue. If I see something in the chat, then I'll take a pause. Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. So even if you look at these screens now, for example, right? What I liked about these screens are they're very, very clear, they're very clean, and this is the language that this designer has followed through. There's a very clear, even before you get started, there's a language button on top that I can choose my language if I don't want English, right? There is a need help button right up there, which is a very, very important thing, right up front. You're being able to give the person the access that, hey, listen, if you can't figure this out or you don't want to do this on your own, just tap on need help, and somebody will assist you through this, right? Please enter your phone number below. Tell us about yourself. That again shows a lot of human thinking, right? You're trying to build an experience where it's not just saying personal details, right? It's explaining it very nicely, saying some basic, information about you. There's a typo there, but some basic information about you, right? So this kind of stuff makes a huge difference in the way your user would engage with your service, right? Onboarding the user is very, very important, because that is those first few moments that you have to build trust with the user, right? um Again, easy screen reader, access to people who can't read easily. So a lot of these small things, the way not feeling well, right? It's a very human way. I mean, I would have still put in a little more personalization. Hey Rajesh, just in case if you're not feeling well, here is some quick access to understand your symptoms, right? So those are the ways that personalization can improve the customer's experience, right? So these are the reasons why I thought, again, from a usability perspective, nice big buttons, because when you're tapping, you need to have like 50 by 50, 60 by 60 is ideal. You can go down to up to 40 by 40 depending on how important and how much you're trying to show on the screen. But tappability wise, usability wise, I thought this was clearer than the others. The language is simpler, the palette is simpler, right? Some inconsistencies in terms of visual design, in terms of the way the calendar and the time box and the CTA have different rounded corners and all that. I would have avoided that, so that there is more consistency in the way the screen looks, right? These are also small things that add visual friction, which you should avoid, right? I would have used circles instead of squares for blood sugar and liquid profile. The the tappability issue again there in terms of the check boxes. Yeah. So again, to just get more consistency in the way you're designing, right? So again, our technician is on the way. small nudges. I always insist on making and you'll see this in, Swiggy and Zomato, the way they keep you informed, the way they keep you posted, the way they use the weather in improving their services and increasing the awareness to the customer that, hey, listen, it's raining outside, your order might be late a little bit, making it more human, making it more real, right? So even if your order is late, the customer knows that, okay, fine, it was raining heavily, so they are more empathetic towards the, delivery partner, and they just don't get like angry or agitated that, hey, listen, why are you late, right? So these small things, they are the ones that make a difference. So Abhishek, good job on that. I would want to compliment you on, keeping things really really human. Small little illustrations, I think, I mean, again, they could have been better in terms of, the way, so consultation for lower back pain should not show, a joint. You should have probably shown a back. But the fact that you thought about that, an illustration should be there, again, is a great point, right? So these small things, these visual cues, in terms of alignment, I would have probably put the illustration here on the left hand side, and then had the title so that it's just easy to read, because you have to understand, it's English, right? In English, we read left to right. So left always becomes the anchor and the most important point, because mentally you automatically land on the left, right? So that's why the top left quadrant of your screen is the most important. So because naturally you tend to look there first, unless you have like a screen with a really bold visual right in the middle, right? So then your eye tracking goes from top left to the center. So understanding eye tracking, again, I think would help you really improve the way you've done the solution. So yeah, I mean, I think it was user centric for sure. I think he gave accessibility enough importance. I think he made it really very nice and human. A very very important aspect in this particular service. So that was the reason I thought that he was one of the better ones. I'll take a pause. I know there's a 5 second delay. Should I move to Rutuja, Vansh,
Yeah, so
or
there are like eight suggestion that we have. Tanzila is asking. So sorry, not a suggestion. It's a question. Any suggestions that we have to mainly focus while creating? Like she's asking for case studies perspective. Like any
okay?
suggestions from your side?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, typically, when my team or I are working on, presenting a case to someone, and we're crafting almost like a testimonial or a case study, there's a certain simple structure that we follow. Okay. In a case study, the first thing that needs to come across very, very clearly is, what is a question? What is a problem? Right? What is a question that you're trying to find answers to? Right? So the problem statement should be very very clear. And I think, okay, let me talk a little bit about the problem statements that you know uh, people kind of had a challenge with here. I think I didn't see any of you break a problem statement down into actual achievables. I'll give you an example. Like, for example, all of y'all wrote that the problem statement was probably what you got, which was to help people, build a user centric and easy to use, friendly interface for booking a blood test, for these particular user personas. So if I just go up, for example, here. So, as age increases, people face significant challenges in accessing healthcare services. They have mobility issues, and they need physical, report. They also need a reliable home sample collection service. Now, this is not a problem statement. This is a situation, right? The problem statement is, how would I create a reliable home sample collection service that does not take more than 3 steps or 5 minutes to book, right? That is a problem statement. That is an achievable. You have to put an achievable into the statement, that how do I do this within 3 steps, or how do I do this, how do I make a booking service which doesn't take more than 30 seconds for a person to book? How do I take a how do I make a booking service that helps somebody book with the least amount of data fields? So you have to break a problem statement down into an achievable. So that would be the first part of your case study. You have to make sure that you really, really clarify what is the problem that you're solving and what is the measure of success of that problem. What should happen so that you feel that this problem has been solved? That needs to come across in the first part itself, right? That, for example, Uber's problem statement would have been, how do I build a service that exudes trust to the customer, and it should build trust with the customer by these five things: by always being able to show them the location, by having a profile of the driver, by making sure that the customer who's going to book knows the quality of the driver. So these are all achievables, right? You need to be able to have that in the problem statement. That's number one in a case study. Make sure that that happens. Second thing in the case study is obviously the research that you've done. Okay, now I have this problem. I should talk to people. So in your research, there should be two, three different parts. There'll be primary research that you will get with the problem statement from your stakeholder, your client, or your boss, or whoever. There should be some sort of online secondary research that you should do. You should go online, and there should be a secondary research. And the third one should be research that you've done with actual users. Have you gone ahead and picked up the phone, gone, met somebody, spoken to them, to show that you've really gone into the length and breadth and depth of this problem statement to figure out where the possible magical solutions lie? That's the second part of the case study, which is very, very important. Have you been able to identify the problem very clearly? Have you done enough research around the problem statement to make sure that you come up with the best solution? And the third part would be then to focus on showcasing the solution, right? And I would talk more about why that is the solution, why do you think it'll work, and some sort of validation that, okay, you've also gone ahead and checked it with people, and here is how you are confident that this is a solution that will work, right? Most often times case studies just end at the solution, that, okay, here is what I think or we think that this should be. But there is no closure in terms of that, okay, no, this is what we think it should be, and we, by the way, did build it, release it, tested it, and this is what happened. So if it's an actual case that you finished and delivered, then you should talk about the success. You should talk about how it was successful and why it was successful. And if it has not been released, then you should talk about why you think it will be successful, like some validation, some external validation from a user, actual user, or an audience, that, okay, hey, listen, this is why they think this will work, right? So, Tanzila, I hope that that answers your question in terms of what should be the construct of a really strong, powerful case study. Problem statement means what we have to achieve. We should mention that in problems. Yes, you should mention what you're setting out to achieve. That I am going to make this particular experience faster, or I'm going to make this experience more trustworthy, or I'm going to make this experience a lot more, cheaper. And then in your solution, it should be that how did you do that? And why do you think that is the case, right? For example, I saw in a lot of case studies on this particular thing, people spoke about trust, people spoke about empathy, but nowhere did I see in any of your designs a small nudge or a small testimonial message saying that so and so has booked their service, or so many customers have booked their service flawlessly and gotten results within 24 hours. There was no nudge building confidence with the user in various different steps, or telling them that, hey, listen, don't worry, there are many people like you that we have helped. There are many blood samples that we have accurately delivered on. We have 0.0000% error, whatever, in our reporting, and things like that, right? So definitely mention what you're setting out to achieve, so that in your solution, in your case study, you can validate that by saying that, okay, hey, this is what I wanted to do, and this is what I've now been able to do. Okay, right. I hope that answers your question. Abhishek, you're welcome. There's another Abhishek. He says, hello, sir, but I have learned a lot in the workshop. Now I understand what is a case study. Thanks, Vansh, Vishwaja, and Clark. So you're welcome, buddy. Let's move on to Rutuja's portfolio. Vansh, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right. I'm just going to have to find it. Yeah. Let me know. Can you see Rutuja?
Yeah, yeah, we can see it.
Hope you're there on the chat.
I think so. She is. Yeah.
Okay, great. So again, some of the things that I liked about what Rutuja has done was attention to detail. I think her research seemed to be really, really thorough. I like the way that she has actually mapped out the steps, right, where she's talking about how a customer is actually going through the entire experience. She's kind of divided that in terms of a home experience, a lab visit, and the final report that comes out. I think this to me was where I was impressed, because this is called a service diagram, where you actually break the experience down into the touch points that the user goes through, right? This is something that a lot of people in UX tend to miss out on, right? The service framework, the service diagram, very, very important, because this diagram actually explains exactly what the user is going through, right? And at which step, what they're interacting with, and what probably they're thinking, feeling, doing, and going through. This diagram can actually help you really understand the opportunity areas in a problem that you're setting out to solve, right? So this, I thought, was something that kind of stood out, in comparison to what everybody else has done. And I thought the way this has been also written out is very interesting, right? um, Again, one very, very important thing that all of y'all need to understand, and I saw this very clearly in Rutuja's portfolio. I think maybe the others also have it, but the fact that she has been able to split out what the user wants and what the business wants, I think this is really important, right? A lot of times we tend to forget about the business, which is not fair. I mean, I know we are user experience designers and our job is to make the user's life easy, but that cannot come at the cost of business. A business is not going to be able to deliver uh, unendingly advantageous solutions for the user, right? There has to be something in it for the business. They also have to be able to make money, sustain, and be able to keep delivering, or innovating and doing better. So making sure that that, okay, fine, if at this particular step this is what the user is doing, what is probably the business wanting from the user, right? I think that is very, very important. So the way she's kind of focused on this particular diagram, I thought was very, very interesting. That she has been able to empathize not only with the user, but she's been able to empathize also with the business. I think that is extremely important for UXers. We tend to forget as UXers that you have to empathize with everybody, right? You have to empathize with the user, because that's ultimately the person you're building the service or the business for. You have to empathize with the business, because ultimately they are the ones who have to make money so they can sustain themselves, right? If they are not going to be able to deliver on the promise, then they will not. It doesn't matter what the user wants. The user can want the moon, but not always can you deliver that, right? And then the third thing is, you have to empathize with the people who have to build this, the tech people, the product people, the design team, everybody else who has to bring this whole thing together, right? So I thought this was also, again, something that I didn't really see in a lot of the others. Maybe it was there and I missed it. So again, to me, all of y'all were very, very close, and I hope y'all can take the learnings from this conversation more generically, right? So um, it can help you all. And then obviously going forward, again, I saw her. I found this very interesting that she put urban company here, and did not look at just the medical services or the medical products and experiences or brands out there. So it was very interesting that that I thought she chose urban company. Again, shows strategic thinking. It shows that you're going beyond just your typical brief. So I thought that was very important, and it was very, very you know interesting that Rutuja picked this, right? I'm not going to go into the details. I think those details you guys can go through on your own. I'm just trying to highlight the things that I thought I found very, very interesting. Why I picked Rutuja and Abhishek as the top two out of this. Again, how might be very important right? I know all of y'all or most of y'all have done the how might we exercise, but being able to very accurately put the user in the middle, and it's not how might we it. I mean, I have a slightly different take to this. What I like to think, or how I like to say this to my teams, is how would they, right? So for example, in her case it is Manohar Joshi. So I would say that this should be how would Manohar, right? How would Manohar do A, B, C, D, E? How would Manohar do this? How would Manohar get this? How can I make Manohar feel this? How can get Manohar to this particular situation? If you do that, then I think you will start coming up with much more accurate, solutions for the problem statement that you're solving for, right? I think that is a takeaway that again, you guys can think about a little bit the next time that you're working on another project or whatever, right? So and I like the fact here that she's kind of tried to put technology plus an actual task plus some inputs in terms of interface, all of this. I would have tagged them very very specifically, like for example, auto detect location is a technology thing, it's a device thing. Language option and legible font size is a user experience thing. So which parts of this is technology, which parts of this is about the user's experience, and so on and so forth. So I think that would have been a little more, which you've probably done later on, to before you build the solutions. And again, I think the interface that finally came out, again in Ruthuja's case, I found was simple to use. It didn't seem very verbose. And, so like one suggestion I would give is, instead of writing 6, 7, 8 lines here, put 3 lines, put dot, 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 put see more or something like that. Save this real estate, keep it neat so that users can understand the keywords, right? The minute a user sees 6 lines, 7 lines, or 8 lines, they just scroll. They won't read. They'll just tap. They'll go ahead, and if they've not read and they've made a mistake, they'll still blame you, right? So what I would do in the interfaces, I would make the keywords stand out very clearly, right? So if I'm trying to say something about Simrat Kaur, I would put three big keywords and then put like a dot dot dot, so that if in case they want to still get to know Simrat more, they can click on that and they can open it and they can see it, right? Or if I am trying to show this as a testimonial, then I would try and again highlight and then put a see more if they want to read more, right? Because a person would still read a highlight and get your point rather than putting 8 lines that they'll ignore, right? So again, if you see the interface, nice big buttons, nice, very clean, clear, not very confusing, right? Again, I would Rutuja, say that make these things a lot more human. Don't just say payment successful, right? You can say thank you for your payment, right? So if you know the person, right, you know the person's name because they've registered with you, they've given you a name and all that. So on that screen, you could just say thank you for your payment, Rutuja. We'll get you this as soon as possible, or we'll come back to you and remind you on the business. So make it personal, make it engaging, make it human. Don't let them feel like they're interacting with a robot or a screen or a device. Let them feel as if they're interacting with somebody on the other side, right? That would really really enhance your experience. Again, I'll take a pause because these are the major reasons why I thought Rutuja was again in the top two. Looking at some of these comments on the chat. Khyati says designer एक workshop निकलांग sir के साथ भी sure Khyati, happy to do it. Soumya says should the solution to a problem statement always be unique or better one even in the case of Karen's care? I had a hard time thinking about the solution as now can our solution be? Um, See, again, I think we put too much pressure on ourselves by saying that I'm going to do something better or I'm going to do something different. Different is not always necessary, to be honest. Right? Different is overrated. Right? I think it should be more valuable. Don't create solutions for solutions' sake. Right? It is not going to work. You, as a consumer yourself, are not going to use anything which is a me too. You're not going to use a service just because somebody told you, right? You're going to use it only if there is a remarkable difference between what you've been using and what this is. Either it's cheaper, or it's trustworthy. So I would say that if you're trying to look for a solution, or if you're trying to look for how should you differentiate this, look at problems that the current competition or the current people have not been able to solve, right? I think look at those would tell you the opportunity areas, right? Because there is no perfect solution. So it's not like somebody has been able to build the perfect solution. That's not the case. Everybody has been able to miss something or the other. So our job is to figure out, okay, fine, is there something that is valuable enough, attractive enough for me? And if you can't, then try and think with somebody else, right? Get more people into the conversation, because then they'll be able to help you. I think what tends to happen is most of our blocks come because we tend to try to solve it on our own. I'm sitting with this statement. I'm looking at this screen for hours and hours and hours. Hey, listen, if you've not been able to, just call a friend, call somebody, call your neighbor, call another designer and say that, hey, listen, I'm trying to solve this problem. And, I'm looking at all of this and I can't figure out if there is anything valuable or anything different that I can really add to this. Can you see something that is missing? Right? If you've not been able to identify a differentiator, then I don't think you've spoken to enough people. And you should not be talking to only one kind of person. You should be talking to people in technology. Maybe there is sometimes, there's a new technology that can help you solve a problem. Like, for example, in telco and in banking, facial recognition was not an option till the government actually allowed it. But the minute the government actually allowed facial recognition, and they said, okay, fine, that is something that we will accept as a particular step. Now you have that in a lot of onboarding processes, where you can take your own photo and you can just say a few words, and there is technology supported that decision. There is technology that can identify one face from the other very, 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 very accurately. So look at, is there a new technology that can make the solution faster? Is there anything else that I can add here which can make it better? Don't try to just solve it with design. Try and solve it with various different things. If you're solving a solution, if you're trying to create a solution for people who are trying to book a service, right? Uh, Maybe you don't need to have an entire app with so many screens and all that. What if you came up with a service which was just a voice bot, where somebody just opens the app, or just goes to Siri and says, "Hey Siri, can you start the convenience care app?" And the convenience care app comes on and says, "Hi Niklang, how can I help you today? I hope you're feeling good. What do you want to do?" And I book a test. Okay, what test would you like? Is it a simple blood test, or is there something else that we're looking for? And you could have just done the entire interface in a conversation. That would have been a different solution to the same problem that everybody else is doing, right? That would have been a completely different take, completely different approach, right? You could have said that, hey, listen, I want to solve this by integrating this with Alexa. I don't even want to create an app. I want to integrate this with Siri, because those things are possible today. So if you're not going to explore different avenues and different areas and possibilities, then you'll face a block, right? So don't set out to do something different. Okay, oh, I want to create something different. No, just try and research, just try and ask questions, and automatically you'll start seeing that, hey, okay, listen, nobody's done this, and I want to figure out why, right? That'll help you. So I hope that answers your question. I'll see if there are any more better or different from what is already offered in the market. As a designer, should we only be thinking about improving the UX? No, there's so much more to your job, man. A lot of times, I'll give you an example. I was a service many years back, and the brief was that this is a 10-step journey. Can you make this 10-step journey into a 3 or 4-step journey? And we said, okay, fine, let's check it out. Let's go and talk to people, and let's explore different technologies that can help us make it. And when we started doing it, we realized we spoke to a lot of users. We realized that the fact that it's a 10-step journey is not even a problem. That particular service was failing not because of the number of steps it took to for a user to register or get onboarded. It was failing because it was very expensive. It had nothing to do with the number of steps. It was all about, it was too expensive as compared to the other options in the market. So we actually had to go back and we had to do a reverse presentation to the client and to the business teams and tell them that, listen, while we'll try and reduce this to as many steps as we can, right? But the problem that we are hearing is not this the journey. The problem is the pricing. So can we do something in the journey that can help you reduce the pricing to the user, right? Because if you're not going to reduce that pricing, then nothing you do is going to actually help you do better business and more business. So the job of a UXer, I believe, is more of a service designer, is more of a product designer, where you can take the opportunity to whatever level and extent that you have to, as long as you've done it scientifically, as long as you've done it with the right people and things like that, right? If you, again, like I said, I keep saying this, don't try to change the world alone, right? Don't try to boil the ocean and all of those things that you've probably heard. Try and figure out how you can get more people involved. The basic core most important job of a designer is inclusion. It is to get more people into the problem, to try and see how we can solve it together. And trust me, you will come out with the best solutions when you're working with a really rock solid team, right? And in the right environment. Okay. Rutuja says, firstly, thanks so much for the review. I have one question. How do you optimize the process of coming to a high fidelity prototype solution when working within timelines in the industry? Wow. Great question, Rutuja. I wish I had a simple answer to that. But I think I can try and give you a framework that I use to make sure that I do the best that I can, and it's called time boxing. You have to make sure that you don't land up going into a rabbit hole and getting lost in it. So, for example, so the first thing that I always tell my teams, and you can talk to anybody in my team and they'll tell you this: when you get a particular problem statement that you have to work on, or a project, or anything that you have to work on, try and understand, by when do I have to give this? Okay. So if I have to give this in 3 days, then you have to make sure that, okay, fine. If I have to give it in 3 days, then I'm going to divide this 3 days, and I'm going to do research in one day, and I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and whatever your steps are, and I'm going to speak to 4 people, and I'm then going to do spend 5 hours on wireframing, and then I'll spend a couple of hours talking to again people, and then maybe 2 hours again on UI, so on and so forth. So you have to plan. If you don't plan, and if you don't have an idea of how much time and what you want to do at which step, then you will not be able to course correct, because you will not be able to understand where you're going wrong. And if you try to chase the perfect solution and the perfect design, then you will never ever be able to do it, because there is no such thing, right? Don't chase unicorns. Make a plan, work to the plan, right? If you feel that the plan is too short, go back to your stakeholder and say that, hey, listen, I'm going to do the best I can, but ideally I would have wanted so much more time to be able to do so much better a job. This is not ideal, right? Or in this time, this is the maximum that I can deliver on, right? Because there are these things that I'm not going to be able to do. So if you plan yourself well, if you structure yourself well, then I think you will be able to move from one step to the other, from research to low fidelity to high fidelity, very comfortably and very confidently, right? But if you're going to say that, okay, I'm going to spend as much time as I can on wireframing, and then whatever I can do, I'll do in the last step, or the other way around, that forget the wireframes, I'll start working straight on the design and the design system and all that, and then I'll no. And again, in the industry, you get help, you have other people who will help you, you're not always working alone. In this particular project, you probably were. But another way of getting to from low fidelity to high fidelity very confidently and comfortably is by adding more people, like I said earlier. Get more people, inspire more people to come and work with you. And it happens in the industry, so there's a lot of help that you can get. So it's not as bad and as stressful as sometimes you hear. Yeah.
Amazing. Sir,
So
just that thank you so much for actually, joining our stream today as well. Because it's
anytime,
just
man.
that I feel sad for the people who don't know that Niklang sir are about to join us. right?
नहीं यार, ऐसी बात नहीं है.
And no, no, it's because like always we have like over 70 people at least watching us. You know, today was quite unofficial. You know, it was not planned that we will be actually doing this. हमने I think 6 p.m. को ही announcement किया
Hmm.
that we'll be going live because a lot of people are still making the case study, and I think out of the 800, even after the submissions, 10 to 15 people still tend to submit it because वो देख के अच्छा लगता है that people are still getting motivated. And guys, this was it from the Niklang side. So, sir, if you want to stay, you can, and if you want to give more feedbacks, you can. Uh, but we also have Vishwaja with us who can also give reviews.
No, I'll just answer that one last
Yeah, yeah,
comment.
for sure, for sure.
It's on the chat. Somebody called Rockley. Why software engineers get high salaries than designers? I feel jealous sometimes. Don't, man. I know a lot of designers are getting paid way more than software designers, right? I know a lot of designers who, but that's only because they've been able to prove their value, right? Don't worry about who's getting paid more and who's getting paid less. It's a chance thing, right? Just do your job well, and I can assure you that somebody worthy will pick you up, and will and you'll get your dues, right? वो मिल जाता है यार, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है तुमको. हाँ, अगर तुमको एक साल में 1 करोड़ रुपए कमाने हैं, and you want everything to come to you soon, then you'll feel a little insecure, or you'll feel angry or whatever. But don't. I've seen talent get rewarded if they're disciplined, if they deliver. Then आज नहीं मिलेगा, कल मिलेगा, लेकिन अगर कल मिलेगा ना, तो दुरुस्त मिलेगा. So don't worry, right? Okay, I'll bounce, guys. I'll leave you to this. If there's anything else, once you let me know.
For sure, sir.
And happy to do this. All the best, guys. I think great stuff. And keep it up.
Let's go. Thank you so much, sir,
Yes,
for joining in, and thank you so much for giving us your time. I'll see you the next
you
one.
guys. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Bye.
Bye bye. Hi, Vishaj. Are you there?
Yeah,
Yes. So, guys, कैसा लगा? Reviews and stuff, obviously. Niklang sir deserves a
was
bow.
great. Yeah. And everyone like got a lot of insights. I was listening while I was traveling.
Yeah,
It was so useful. Like everyone will get a new path where how to take the case studies to next level.
100%. Super, super happy. And now, in coming 40 minutes, Vishwaja will be. So, एक काम करते हैं. जिसको भी चाहिए रिव्यू, आप अपना नाम डालें एंड अपन पहला फिर उसी से चालू करेंगे रिव्यू करना एंड विल गिव यू लाइव फीडबैक ऑन द स्ट्रीम राइट नाउ. सुपर हैप्पी टू सी एवरी वन हु आर लिसनिंग एंड आप 29 के 29 लोग आर वैल्यूएबल बिकॉज आप लोगों ने निकलांग सर को सुना है अच्छे से. एंड अभी मैं लाइक आई वॉज प्लानिंग कि लाइक एक वर्कशॉप तो है ही हमारा, उसके साथ साथ आई वॉज प्लानिंग अ सेपरेट सेशन टू बी मेड विद निकलांग सर ऑन लाइक द कमिंग वीक डेज. ठीक है, जैसे ट्यूसडे या वेडनेसडे को कमिंग एंड लाइक ए प्रॉपर डिटेल्ड विद एक्सप्लेनेशन. तो लाइक उसका मैं लाइक पोल डाल दूंगा ऑन द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप सो दैट एवरी वन ज्वाइंस. उसके लिए एक अलग से लेंगे एंड इट विल बी जस्ट अ वन डे इवेंट. सो लाइक वर्कशॉप्स के साथ साथ वीडियो इवेंट्स ऑल्सो राइट. तो दिस इज देयर नाउ. जिसको भी चाहिए जस्ट टाइप योर नेम, एग्जैक्ट नेम जो आपने अपने फॉर्म में दिया है राइट. तो हम लाइव रिव्यू देंगे. विश्वजा यू कैन शेयर द स्क्रीन. ऑल्सो गाइज द मार्किंग्स विल बी शेयर्ड बाय टुमारो एज वेल. मार्किंग्स बहुत केयरफुली करी है हमने, तो रीचेक कर रहे हैं उसको कि हमने कुछ मिस तो नहीं कर दिया एंड स्टफ. एंड अभी लाइव सेशन अभी किया है सो दैट एवरी वन हु इज विलिंग टू get feedback can ask.
Whose case study should I like open?
हाँ, अभी अभी कोई नाम देगा तो ना.
Okay.
बताओ गाइस किसकी रिव्यू करते हैं, बताओ. Who wants to get reviewed? Anyone? I think वो पाँच थोड़ा टाइम लगता है पहुंचने में.
Hmm.
People will say something. मेरा चार्ट अटक गया क्या, बंद हो गया चार्ट? Okay,
How?
first is Hafsa, then we have Anushka. पहले Hafsa को करते हैं.
Okay, one
You
second.
can open and then start streaming.
Yeah. Mm. Is it visible?
Yep. Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Hafsa, innovating home healthcare, a case study on convenient care. Nice. Okay, so nicely done the banner and the starting of the case study. Then she has written the disclaimer. This is my personal project. Great. The overview of the project is nicely done. Project, convenient care, tools, role. Also, you could add the duration of this case study, how much time it took, or you could just add a small timeline, like what part you did on which day and stuff. Then we have the problem statement. Aging adults and individuals with disabilities face challenges accessing convenient healthcare services, including home sample collection, lab testing, and report delivery. Okay, so problem statement is nicely written. Research goals: simplify access to healthcare services, ensure convenient home sample collection, facilitate fast delivery. Okay, so research process. So you could also add the small picture over here because a lot of text is going on from this point. You could add a small uh, banner like we saw in some case studies that they have mentioned. Like first was empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and below that they had mentioned what parts they followed from the given flow, right? So this would look more engaging for the reader to go through your case study. Then the primary research. Primary research involves collecting original data directly from sources through. Okay, so if you have not done this part, it is really not important to show that what is primary research, right? If you're going with the secondary research, just mention it why you have chosen this path. And it is like a storytelling part is little bit missing in your case study. So you could start with like, I chose this case study for so and so reason. Then we proceed with the secondary research part, as it is also called as a desk research, and we have a small duration. So I chose the secondary research part. So a little bit storytelling would make this case study more interactive and level up, right? So user persona, nicely done. Core needs, you have chosen the colors like green and red. Love this. Then we have the competitive analysis. Okay. So yeah, you have shown the charts as well for both direct and indirect. Also, you could add their logos. This would look more appealing for like each. Like if the first is Pharmacy, you could add a small logo of that. And for Protea also, you can add one logo over there. Then you have done the SWOT analysis. Love the creativity you have shown over here. The strengths, weakness, opportunities, and stuff. Nicely done. Then we have generating ideas and solutions. How might we questions? Yeah, okay. So also here you could show like for more level up thing, you could show the problem statement and how you have broken down it into pieces. So this would add a plus point into this. How might we? Then a nice user flow. Yeah, the circles, the diamond shape, and everything is used properly. Then we have the information architecture. Information architecture is also like you have been creative with it. The home, welcome screen, quick access buttons, book appointment. Then we have view test results, manage profile. Okay, in depth you have written this, nicely done, and it's clear as well. Then we have wireframing. You could have shown some like ideation in paper wireframes. Also, you could have added some low fidelity if possible, but overall, this high fidelity looks good, very simple. but it's in the high fidelity. What you have done is you have just shown this starting phase, like from login and sign up. Instead of that, you could have just solved the problem, like whatever problem you are working on, you could have added those important screens and made a high fidelity of those screens only, because making a high fidelity of login and sign up was not that much necessary, because you are solving some particular problem, right? So you could have just chosen those for the designing part. Then you have written the conclusion. Also, one more thing, you could have added some prototype or a link or embedded the Figma thing. Baki, everything is really good. Conclusion. Okay, so here you have added some touch of storytelling. I have created an intuitive and efficient service that enhances user experience and accessibility. As I move forward, I remain committed to continuous improvement and innovation. This is really nice. This you could have followed throughout the case study. So I hope this review helps you. Next, was it good, Hafsa?
So we have the next one also.
Um,
Anusha, Anushka. Yeah.
Anushka, surname, I guess. I'll say. Okay, sorry. Stop sharing.
Yeah. See guys, देखो विश्वजा ने कितनी मेहनत करी है. All the markings were there, and just that solidify कर रहे हैं अपन, and we'll disclose that as well for all the 70 responses that we have gotten. ठीक है?
Anushka, 1 second.
Yeah. Anushka Kadam. I think Anushka is in the top 10, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
okay. So Niklang sir reviewed all the top tens.
Yeah, no, Niklang sir only reviewed the first top two and also gave the general feedback to everyone who was listening. So it was
Okay,
quite insightful for everyone. Yeah.
great. Okay, so Anushka, convenient care, healthcare app, UX case study. Okay, nicely done. The banner shows take control of your health with ease. So yeah, the start is nice. In the quiet of their empty house, aged parents tend to task with hands once held by their children. The echoes of laughter now replaced by a okay. So really nice. You have like told some story, but I would suggest use some like light words, like sometimes the people who are reading it might not understand some meaning. So like what is poignant, right? So they'll just skip through your like first part. So you could just make it more easy for the person who, like for a large time, right? So they should be able to understand what is the background, like in ease. Like whatever you have done, the first part is really nice with a small story. And also you have highlighted this, why not create an app designed to make their lives easier. This is so good. I love this. Then you have added a prologue, which is really nice. Also you have highlighted important parts so that even if I'm in a hurry, I'll read these and I'll get an idea whatever you have written in it. Problem statement, nicely done. As people age, their ability to frequently visit pathology labs for medical tests diminishes significantly due to physical weakness, mobility issues, and overall health constraints. So, yeah, you have specifically mentioned everything. Goals are like to the point and crisp: convenience, accessibility, reliability, ease of use, and everything. User persona, a nice quote is given, goals and frustrations are mentioned, age, location, everything is like to the point. Then we have must haves, like this is like a nice plus point that she has written that sample collection from home, doorstep delivery of reports, and easy to use. So she knows what she is like looking forward to solve in the case study, right? Then we have the pain points as well. Delivery of physical reports might get delayed, unaware of time of reports delivery. So nicely written in bullet points and like not much clutter about the explanation. Then she has written about a target market, competitor analysis, short and to the point. And I also loved the way you have done this SWOT analysis. You have like nicely written the S strengths, W weakness, O opportunities, T threats. So this is really nice, but a bit creative than others. Then you have done user flow, and I love the way you have added this cross and text. It really makes it easy for me to understand as well. Nicely done. Then also she has added a lot of wireframes, paper wireframes. You could have added some low fidelity as well. And I love the way you have told the story. Like, I created a paper wireframe to test my design ideas with users. It was my first experience with paper wireframing, and I was amazed by its benefits. So it shows that you are learning and you are eager to explore. That is really good. Then visual designs, um, nicely done. Also, what you could like, uh, to level up your case study, you could add the annotations, like mark the important parts you have added, what is really to be noted. Like, if you have shown here this track reports process, so this is really nice. You could add a little annotation with an arrow and like just mention like how this will help the users and why you have added this, and this is and which heuristic part it's solving. Is really nicely done. I love the track reports process. Also, you could use more like more like download these screens with like more clarity and like consistent, like make the spacing nice and use mock-ups. This will help you enhance your case study. And then she has takeaways. I found this project to be a springboard for learning. Nicely written. I expect to apply everything I learned while creating this UX case study to my current career and onward. So, yeah, hope you find this helpful, Anushka. Nicely done. Iterate, go and make it more beautiful and readable. It's really nicely done. Next, we have, I guess, Varun. Is it Varun Rathor? Okay. Yeah, most welcome. So here's the case study of Varun, home healthcare service app, a UX case study. Nice banner with the mockups already. Introduction: in today's fast-paced world of technology, accessing healthcare services can be very challenging for aging adults. Okay, so you have started with a small storytelling. Nice. Okay, this app is designed to provide a small insight on why is this app designed. So that is great. The project was a time bound. So the part you missed here is a small intro about you and what is your role, what is the duration, and those small insights you could have added in the start. Okay, so okay, you have added it in the next part, my responsibilities. Okay, okay, so instead of adding this, you could just add like your role as a generalist UX designer and team, you were independently working on this and stuff. So you could just eliminate this part and show a picture of, as I said, the process, like empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and then mention uh, the specific parts like user persona under the empathize thing and stuff. Okay, so you could just mention it below. I'll also send that case study where that girl has done nicely, like empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and then she has added the points below it. So yeah, you can just remove this and add a picture and then add these points below it. So okay, a design process, user persona. Okay, just remove this and paste it over here and then add the banner that I said. You can just make it by your own or you can find it anywhere on Pinterest, but making it by your own will be a nice thing and a plus point. Then we have the user persona. Okay, so he has also mentioned the goals, behavior, pain points. Okay, the research. You could mention that you have done this as a secondary research and why you have chose doing this as a secondary research. As I said before, you can use the colors a little bit like readable. Also, uh, you can take nice screenshots because it's a little blurry. Just remove the background that is in purple, make it white so that it's visible to read whatever the cards represent. So this is a small point you can change. The challenges after reading and doing secondary research, I wrote down the pain points. Okay, so you have a nice storytelling skills, like how you went from one point to another. Mobility issues, long waiting lines in healthcare centers, limited familiarity with technology. Okay, so user flow chart, mobility issues, long waiting lines in healthcare centers. Okay, uh, so user flow chart is like not at all readable. You should at least click on that if you have done this in FigJam. Select that part and then right click and do copy as PNG. And I guess this should work for high quality image. So change it because I'm really not able to read it. So try to make it more clear. Information architecture, again, the small things that you have written, I'm not able to read those. And if you have mentioned the flow, like in notifications what will be the parts, instead of writing it in notes, you can just add small squares or something, so that it's easy to read and easy to follow your information architecture. Then the tools used. So this part, the tools used, you can add it in the first part, like before you start, where you write the roles and stuff, roles duration. You add the tools used section above, at the like very start. Then wireframes, again you can add some paper wireframes, low fidelity, which will enhance your case study. And then you have added these screens. What you can do is you can just um, make two parts of this and just create those which are really important and add the annotation part. Okay, and why this screen, what this screen represents, at which part this screen will help the user. So this will really help to clearly understand your designs. And for prototyping, again, what you can do is you can just prototype it and make a video of it, post it on YouTube, and embed that thing in your case study. This will help to like easily go through your user flow, whatever it is. So yeah, this will enhance more your case study. My learnings, future work, field or primary research. Okay, so you can just replace this and write like about more enhancements, or I'll work on the following points. So like try to make it more engaging, instead like try to make it like add it in the my learning section itself, like instead of making it a separate part. Because not only you will be doing this, you will be iterating more, like after usability testing you will have more feedbacks after the launch. So like these are not the only points you will be doing, so just add it in the my learnings part. And show that you are going to iterate, and what will be the success matrix, what assumptions you think this solution will create, like add the assumptions like this solution will help people to do dash and dash things. So as Nicolang sir said that you should add success metrics, and if this is a not real project, you can just make assumptions like how this will affect the users. So this will really be a plus point in your case study. Again, connect with me, nicely done. So overall, nice try. Really, you can just iterate and make it more um, like level up with your case study. So yeah, hope you found this helpful, Varun. Then Akancha. Okay, 1 second. One second, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So, yeah, I love the way you have added this photograph at the start, which shows that it's a aged person. The hands show that a aged person is using this, and it's really showing that the app is for which niche, like medical niche, right? This case study explores the journey of developing convenient care, a mobile app designed to bridge the gap in home healthcare services by providing quick commerce solutions that prioritize simplicity, accessibility, and efficiency. Nicely done. Also, you could just make this bold. It would really look nice. And all the, like, it will catch the user's attention, and he'll just scan through this, and yeah, so this is going she'll be prioritizing simplicity, accessibility, and efficiency. So he can like just scroll ahead, right? Even if okay, so background, the convenient care project focuses on providing quick commerce for home healthcare services targeting aging adults. Okay, so nicely written, the background, the user persona. It's so minimal, and I love the way you have showcased it and just like to the point. No much colors and stuff. And these quotes are showing that I want to take care of my health without the hustle of constant clinic visits, age, location, his name. Nicely done. Very simple and very like minimal. Love that persona. Then we have the problem statement. It is a generalized problem statement that I really liked. Instead of like targeting the user persona and just mentioning that the elderly and especially able face numerous challenges in accessing prompt and efficient home healthcare services from arranging home samples. Okay, so it's quite big. I would suggest like to enhance your case study more, you can just make it to the point, the problem statement, like users are facing the dash and dash problem, like make it simple, or keep this as it is, and just add that in medium there is this um formatting where you can just add it in a quote like section, like just separate it from the above, so you can add like in a short way the problem statement, like in to the point, so this will help to read as well. Goals, convenient care aims to revolutionize home healthcare services, popularly for aging. Okay, key goals prioritize. Huh, as I said in above, you can just okay. So instead of highlighting it over here, you can just highlight these key points. This will help streamline home sample collection, facilitate easy scheduling and coordination of home sample collection, minimize patient effort and stress. Okay, so these are the 3 points you have considered. Okay, nicely done. Remind patients of follow-up tests and checkups. Okay, then you have competitors and direct competitor. Okay, also as I mentioned before, you can add small logos of whatever competitors you have chosen. This will add a little touch. And yeah, these screenshots will really help to show that you have done like in-depth research. SWOT analysis, so instead of like writing all this in a row, you can add a photo to make it more easy for the person to read in one glance. Or else this really works because you have like written it everything in like to the point, but a photo or a small screenshot will really help. It will also show your creativity. Then I love the way you have added these resources, so if the person wants, he can click on it and just go to that article and learn more about it. Okay, so yeah, small suggestion that you can just convert this text of strength, weakness, opportunities into a small screenshot in notes like structure or whatever you find is creative and works with your case study. Then I love the way you have just added this how might we. So it shows that you have gone through a lot of how might we and you have chosen this, and you are going with the flow and considering this specific how might we question. And then you have also given the explanation. This question encapsulates our commitment to addressing the unique needs of our target audience. Okay, so this is good. I love the way you have shown this user flow. No, yes, nicely done. It's easy to read as well, and different shapes which denote the actions. Nicely done. The user flow diagram for convenient care app outlines the seamless journey for users from opening the app to confirming their booking. It starts with users selecting their preferred language and logging in or signing up. Okay, so you could just reduce this section because it's a lot of reading here, because you have nicely mentioned this user flow, so you can just make this as a one paragraph. Then we have nice, okay, you have just done this quite accurate, the information architecture. Then again we have wireframes. Oh, okay. So I loved this interface and the mockups as well. But you had just two, right? So and also you can add like more three to four and just add annotations. The colors you have chosen are really good. It really looks very fascinating. The interface is very fascinating. Browse by health concern. Okay, so one thing you can do is add annotations, add a prototype, and also mid low fidelity wireframes will work. So yeah, thank you for taking your time. And also, as I again said in the previous case study, you can add like what are the assumptions, success metrics. This is not a real project, but if this was a real project, these would be the changes or these would be the success points that you might see. So yeah, nicely done. And in future you can just may add some um, test it with real users and add the points what real users have faced and just iterate on it and show the before and after screens. This will level up your case study. So yeah, I loved the case study. It's really good. Keep working, keep creating, iterating. So yeah, who's next? Nitya. Okay. Nitya, 1 second.
Also, guys, किसी और को भी चाहिए होगे feedbacks, you can ask Nishij or me on like WhatsApp as well, or like you can ask the community as well. The last two we are doing, Nitya and Kajol, will wrap up by 8:40, and इसके बाद एक छोटी सी announcement होगी like on the Insta page, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, over to you, Vishnu.
Yeah, 1 second. Okay. Mm, are you guys able to see my screen? Okay, I guess. Hmm. So yeah, Nitya, UX case study, convenient care app. Hi, I'm Nitya, a newbie. So yeah, she has introduced herself. Before this, I was learning Mern, Stack, and while I was okay. So yeah, nice introduction as well. But you could add what was the role, duration, the same points that I covered in previous case studies. So add a small timeline, and also like you're working on this independently. So just like a small these points you should mention because it gives an overview of who is working on the project, what was the timeline, and like this gives a reader an overview of your case study, right? Like it really helps. So yeah, background of the case study. In today's fast-paced world where every one of us is having multiple number of chores to handle, and okay, so nicely written the background of the case study. Objectives, you can add objectives like in bullet points, whatever you have written here. This app aims to provide hassle-free pathology services, booking of lab test, and getting in home lab services. Okay, so instead of adding this one bullet point, you could add this in multiple bullet points, like booking of lab test one, then getting in home lab services. especially for disabled. So you could just remove this because this is mentioned in the target audience thing, right? Elderly age group people and individuals with disabilities. Okay. You can mention more like who are the primary audience and who are the secondary audience, and just mention the age range you have considered. This will help to like get in more specific with the problem. User research, since it is an individual case study, I used, okay, so nice storytelling skills. These are very important. I use secondary data. Okay, so you have also mentioned that you have used secondary data. Okay, nicely done. Competitive analysis again. Okay, so you have not shown any charts or any proof that you have like gone through the feedbacks and the review section of the apps. You can just add some links from where you have like gone through these apps, or some articles you have taken as consideration for this competitive analysis. Add some logos of the apps you have chosen. Add some chart, a small chart works, where you have done written down the metrics which you have considered, what features you loved, what features are like lacking behind. Also the SWOT analysis you could have shown, which will help a person to understand if you have like taken those in considerations while creating your case study. Then you have written the problem statement again. Problem statement you could have highlighted like in a small way, that users are facing such and such problem. So just add this code section. So Medium offers that you can just add a small code section and give a proper problem statement that is generalized. Like, um users are facing problem due to the complicated interfaces, and to book and schedule a proper trustable lab. So you could just make it a generalized statement and paste it over there and make it bold, because you have not properly mentioned the problem statement. And also for the how might we questions, you can write like after the problem statement is properly mentioned, you can give the next steps like, I have done this ideation, I have broken down the problem statement to understand what specifically I need to solve, and then you can add these how might we questions, and then choose one and highlight it, and then you can proceed with the further case study. Okay, so you have written the solution as well. Okay, so persona, goals, frustrations. Okay, family, hometown. This is nicely done. Okay. You could also have added the user flow for the particular how might we question, whatever the solution you are trying to solve, and make the information architecture more like minimal, add some colors, make it more creative. And okay, so you have done till this. I'm working on the other parts of the case study, prototyping and high fidelity. I'm learning all other components. Okay, great. So you are learning. You can just after this, you can iterate on the points I've told you, and then go with the paper wireframes, add the ideation as one of the case studies. And Nicolang sir told that you can add the bridge between the business goals and the user goals. That will really help to enhance your case study. Then go with some low fidelity, then high fidelity, and add the prototype link which we can test, or just add a video where you have like tested this prototype, and then takeaways and learnings. So yeah, this should help. Nitya, like, okay, so drop if you found this helpful. Then last one we have Kajol. I'll switch to that. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, okay. So again, convenient care revolutionizing home healthcare with user-centered design. Consider all the same things if you have like missed out, as I told in previous case studies: the role, the duration, and like you're independently working on this and stuff. Add a small timeline if possible. Introduction is given, problem statement. You can add a touch of storytelling, like why you chose this. Then problem statement, again it's really a big problem statement. After this you can just add like a small section after this, and make it like a generalized problem statement, like users are facing this and this problem due to this and this things. So just make a generalized, small and crisp, to the point problem statement and add it over there. Then we have the understanding the problem. Okay, nice. This one is to design an effective solution, we first conducted thorough secondary research. We analyzed existing studies. Okay, so this point I love that you have added. Key findings. Okay, so instead of writing all these things, just give the bullet points like mobility challenges, time consuming, delayed diagnosis, and just give this. No need to give the explanation because it again becomes very lengthy. Then nicely done user persona. It's a little bit blurry. You can just increase the quality of it. Then, as I said in other case studies, you can add a process photograph where it's like empathize, define, ideate, and whatever steps you have conducted, just mention it below that. Research and analysis, wireframing, and prototypes. Huh. So instead of writing all this, just add that picture and add the points below that. Then, okay, so directly I've jumped to the SWOT analysis. Nicely done, SWOT analysis. Also, you can show some screenshots of which articles you went through, what reviews you went through, and like what features you loved. A small screenshot of whatever the competitor analysis you did. Baki, it's really good. The colors chosen are nice. You can just increase the font, and instead of giving all these explanations, just provide the bullet points. So remove these explanations and just provide the points that are really important. Then serving service offerings. Okay, user experience. Okay, so you have written this computer analysis point wise below that. So instead of that, you can just give a chart like structure, and directly I've gone to conclusion. Okay, so you have written the conclusion of both. So this is actually of no need because you have done the SWOT analysis, right? And the competitor analysis should be above and then the SWOT analysis. So follow that structure. Then the key features of convenient care. Okay. Then the user flow is shown. Okay, nicely done. You in user flow you could add the circles and rectangles and the diamond shape for like decision making and stuff. This will enhance the user flow, and it will be easy for us to understand where the decisions are made and what paths the user will take. Color palette. Okay, so you can add again the paper wireframes and the low fidelity. And I would suggest that instead of adding the bold color, the purple and stuff, just take screenshots of the main problem you're solving and add the annotations, like how will that screen help the user. And yeah, you can just remove the color behind that so that the screens are more visible, and mention only the important screens. And then you can add the prototype so that the user or the reader or the recruiter can go through and test it. Then again you can consider some points like the success, adding success metrics and stuff. Also the before and after, if you do the iterations, you can add that as well. And looking ahead, conclusion. So yeah, hope you found this as well helpful, and hope you iterate on this, and I would love to see the iterated one. So yeah, this is it for the reviews.
Amazing. Perfect. Guys, I hope सब लोगों को feedbacks मिले हो अच्छे से, and this was the whole idea so that you guys learn कि अब तुम लोगों को पता है कि like अब हमारे को क्या करना है next, right? So super happy to see everyone learn and take feedback, because बहुत कम लोग लेते हैं feedback, as you can see in the chat. Only 12 of you guys are listening to each another's feedbacks that Vishwaja is giving. Obviously we wanted to do everyone's, but obviously उतना time नहीं है obviously generally हमारे पास. बट दैट्स वेयर हमने निकलांग सर के साथ वो जनरल वाला चीज़ करने की कोशिश करी, बिकॉज वी न्यू दैट वो इम्पॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज दैट्स वेयर यू विल लर्न, राइट? एंड पूरी कोशिश यही है गाइस कि अब नेक्स्ट वर्कशॉप जो होगी विल बी अ बैंगर वन इसके साथ ही, जैसे इसी का अभी हमने हाइप जो क्रिएट किया था उसी लेवल पे लेके जाना है इसको, राइट? तो the next workshop is gonna be on no code, and will be teaching you guys how to use no code tools. We'll be also teaching you guys how to integrate a 3D no code tool as well on your websites. So अब with designer तुम लोग skill sets add करते जाओगे with you, right? तो जिसने भी ब्रांड क्राफ्ट अटेंड किया था, जिसने भी अब यू एक्सेलेंस भी अटेंड किया है, एंड थर्ड एक और लेयर आ जाएगी अब नो कोड नेक्सस वाली। उसके बाद हम थोड़ा सा ग्राफिक साइड पे जाएंगे, राइट, जिसमें आई एम प्लानिंग समथिंग वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, जिसमें अब मैं मतलब मेरे साथ भी ऑब्वियसली वर्कशॉप करनी पड़ेगी, राइट? मैं भी तो हूँ ना कुछ डिज़ाइन के अंदर, तो आई वाज थिंकिंग कि हम अपनी स्पेशलिटी लेके आएंगे। सो वो भी डिस्क्लोज कर देता हूँ बिकॉज देर आर ओनली 10 to 11 पीपल वॉचिंग एंड यू गाइज डिजर्व इट। तो आफ्टर दिस नो कोड नेक्सस विच विल एंड मोस्टली ऑन नेक्स्ट वीक का संडे, उसके नेक्स्ट वीक वाली वर्कशॉप विल बी ऑन हाई CTR थंबनेल्स। बेसिकली कैसे क्लिक CTR बेसिकली क्लिक थ्रू रेट्स। सो बहुत बड़ी फील्ड है ये ग्राफिक डिज़ाइन के अंदर, थंबनेल क्रिएशन। कोई भी फील्ड में ले लो, थंबनेल्स आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट विद SEO एज वेल। तो मैं तुम्हें और को सिखाऊंगा कि लाइक टाइटल वो सब कैसे ऐड करते हैं स्टफ, बिकॉज आई वाज थिंकिंग बिकॉज सब लोगों को पता होना चाहिए। तो थंबनेल में दो टाइप के थंबनेल सिखाऊंगा, वन इज़ अ वर्टिकल एंड वन इज़ अ हॉरिजॉन्टल। तो शायद उल्टा बोल दिया मैंने, आई डोंट नो। तो जो हमारा रील वाले थंबनेल्स होता है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, बिकॉज दीज टू थंबनेल्स आर ऑल्सो like go hand in hand to help you grow, right? So this was the whole workshop. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you so much जिन्होंने भी feedback collect किया. Thank you so much to Vishwaja, Niklang sir, the back end team of designer obviously जिन्होंने ये possible किया है, and इसी पूरी वर्कशॉप को 5-6 दिन रिफ्लेक्ट करते हुए आई जस्ट फील वेरी वेरी हैप्पी कि हमने ये पूरा कंप्लीट किया। एंड आई
Yeah,
टेक वन फाइनल photo as well with Vishwaja. Vishwaja, if you don't mind,
sure.
right? Obviously, we are doing this for the memories, guys. This is going down in the history of designer, and ये हमेशा रहेगा live.
Such a
And
great experience. We
हम
did it like,
हम सोचो एक एक डेढ़ डेढ़ साल बाद आके देखेंगे कि लाइक हमने ऐसा कुछ किया था, तो देख के अच्छा लगेगा कि लाइक ये भी
yeah.
किया था हमने। सो या हेवी गो परफेक्ट। यार ये मेरे में क्यों नहीं आता यार, मेरा मैक खराब हो गया क्या? Anyways guys, thank you so much for taking part in this, and I'll see you next week.
Oh, thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much, Vanch. A lot of appreciation. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It was like
100%.
best experience. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much Vishwaja, thank you so much everyone for joining in, and bye bye.
Bye.